Hey everyone, welcome back for another video. So with my state being back in complete lockdown, I thought of making a new video listing off 5 great modern day fights that you can watch if you're also stuck inside during this lockdown. Now this video is in no particular order and they're all fights from 2010 onwards, as well as one more key thing to note, all these fights you can find in their entirety on YouTube, so I've linked to all the fights in the description below if you want to watch them fully. So now that the introduction is out of the way, if you do enjoy the video, please don't forget to subscribe and I hope you enjoy. So getting right into it, the first fight on our list occurred on the 31st of December 2020 for the WBO Super Flyweight World title between two Japanese stalwarts in Kazuto Ioka and Kosei Tanaka. Kosei Tanaka was looking to become the quickest full-weight world champion in the history of boxing. Tanaka had already become the fastest ever Japanese fighter to become a world champion and the fastest ever fighter to win world titles in 3 different weight categories alongside Vasily Lomachenko at 12 fights. He had already attained the WBO Strawweight World Championship, the WBO Light Flyweight Championship and the WBO Flyweight title. He had already accomplished all of this in only 15 fights, with his 16th being this fight against Ioka. Ioka, if I remember correctly, came into this fight as the underdog, but he himself was already a 4-weight world champion, holding the unified WBA and WBC strawweight titles, the light flyweight belt, but it was the WBA regular title, the WBA flyweight title and the WBO super flyweight title. 2 highly successful, incredibly gifted fighters from Japan coming up against each other, and what happened was a true unadulterated battle. Kosei Tanaka was supremely aggressive and landing flashy, beautifully technical shots early on, but Ioka kept landing these sneaky, powerful counter shots. In the 5th round, a beautiful counter hook from Ioka lands flush on Tanaka, dropping Tanaka on the canvas. But Tanaka would rise up and continue to fight bravely. In the 6th round, once again Ioka would knock down the challenger Tanaka, but again Tanaka got up and kept fighting like the champion he is. But Ioka wasn't taking no for an answer, and in the 8th another crazily beautiful yet hard counter left hook landed on Tanaka and he was knocked out on his feet when the referee jumped in and caught the unconscious Tanaka before he hit the mat. Ioka retained his title and the young, supremely talented Tanaka had suffered the first loss of his career in what was a beyond entertaining encounter. The second fight on this list involved another Japanese warrior in Takashi Miura when he faced Francisco Vargas on the 21st of November 2015 as the co-main event to the Miguel Cotto Canelo Alvarez fight. Takashi Miura was coming into this fight off his 3rd round TKO win over Billy Dib. Miura was the WBC Super Featherweight World Champion with a record of 29 wins, 2 losses and 2 draws, whilst Francisco Vargas was undefeated with a record of 22 wins, 0 losses and 1 draw. Straight away, Miura was looking to stalk Vargas, attempting to land his big southpaw left hand and his right hook, but it wouldn't be so simple. In the 1st round, Vargas landed a huge shot on Miura, rocking him to the core, but the courageous Miura kept coming forward. Miura would knock down Vargas at the end of round 4, but Vargas this time showed the same heart Miura did by getting back up. The fight continued to be back and forth, with Vargas cut in at least 2 different places, yet both men didn't let up, with Vargas catching Miura with sneaky body shots and Miura looking to open his opponent up with big left hands. At the very start of the 9th round, out of absolutely nowhere, a big uppercut, a right hand and another uppercut lands flush on Miura, sending him right to the canvas. Miura was holding on for dear life, yet Vargas kept the barrage up until the referee stepped in. Francisco Vargas had defeated Miura and become the new WBC Super Featherweight World Champion. For the 3rd fight, we are going back down to the giants of the flyweights when Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez faced Juan Francisco Estrada in their first ever bout back on the 17th of November 2012 for the WBA Light Flyweight World title. Now these 2 warriors at the time of making this video have had 2 legendary bouts, but the second was much more recent and I would like to highlight the first in this video. Before this fight, Chocolatito was the former WBA Strawweight World Champion and then current WBA Light Flyweight World Champion with a record of 33 wins, no losses and 28 knockouts. Estrada on the other hand was only 22 years old and had 27 fights with 26 wins, 1 loss with 20 knockouts. This fight was action-packed from the first to the last bell, with both men throwing an obscene amount of punches. Combos and flurries aplenty, the never-ending stamina and the incredible variety of punches involved in their combinations was astounding. When the final bell rung, however, there could only be one winner, with one judge scoring it 118-110 and the other 2 officials giving it 116-112, all in favour of Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. The rematch would of course happen almost 9 years later for the unified world super flyweight title, and in this bout Estrada would get his revenge, winning a split decision victory in what would be another modern day classic bout. Timothy Bradley vs Ruslan Provodnikov is the 4th fight on my list, and what a war it was. Bradley was coming off his highly controversial split decision win over Manny Pacquiao and was looking to get a rather routine win over the then 22-1 Provodnikov. Bradley himself was undefeated with a record of 29-0 and was a two-weight world champion at light welter and welterweight respectively. But when the fight actually started, it was anything but routine for Bradley. In the first 2 rounds, Provodnikov was landing some serious shots, with Timothy Bradley saying after the fight that a shot in the first round had him concussed. As the fight continued, Bradley started to take the middle rounds, outboxing the Russian. By the 12th round, Bradley was ahead in the scorecards, and all he had to do was survive the final round and he would earn a victory. But Provodnikov had other plans. The Russian hurt Bradley bad and was chasing the knockout. Bradley, only with a little time left in the last round, took a knee for an intentional knockdown. Bradley survived the last round and the fight went to the judges. One judge scored it 115-112, with the other 2 both scoring about 114-113, all in favour of Timothy Bradley, who had overcome serious adversity. After this fight, Bradley would retain his title once more with a victory over Juan Manuel Marquez, before losing his belt to Manny Pacquiao in their rematch. Provodnikov, meanwhile, would immediately drop down to light welterweight to become the WBO world champion after an RTD victory over Mike Alvarado. Provodnikov would never successfully defend the title, however, with his first defense being a split decision loss to Chris Algieri. The final fight on this list was between 2 certified modern legends of the sport, when then 31-1 Filipino boxing icon and the then WBO and Ring Magazine bantamweight champion Nonito Donaire came up against the seemingly unbeatable 2-time Olympic gold medalist and 11-0 Cuban maestro Guillermo Rigondeaux. This fight was not necessarily a war, like most of the others on this list, but a fight which propelled Rigondeaux to the top of the boxing world. Nonito Donaire was ranked as the number 5 pound-for-pound boxer in the world and is an unbelievable fighter in his own right, but Rigo put on one of the most fantastic performances of this generation. The unbelievable upper body movement, timing, head movement and footwork Rigo put forth was one of the best of the modern era. An almost virtuoso performance by Rigo over one of boxing's best was a sight to behold until round 10, when Nonito Donaire caught the Cuban, sending him to the canvas. But Rigo got up and persevered. After 12 rounds, the fight was over and Rigondeaux had beaten the best and had catapulted him to becoming the unified world super bantamweight champion. Rigo, after this fight, found it hard to find the best available fighters due to promoting issues and of how genuinely great he was. In search of a better opponent 4.5 years off his signature win, Rigo moved up from his super bantamweight home to challenge the then super featherweight monster Vasily Lomachenko. The fight would end Rigondeux's seemingly invincible status with a whimper. But he wouldn't be deterred, coming back to boxing and winning the vacant WBA World Bantamweight title in February 2020 against Liborio Solis. Donaire, meanwhile, would consistently fight the best and earn titles at Super Bantam and Featherweight before having another modern-day classic against Naoya Inoue in 2019, losing to the Japanese stalwart. But in May 2021, the Filipino Flash achieved something great. He would annihilate Nordine Oubaali in 4 rounds to become the oldest bantamweight world champion in boxing history. Both Rigo and Donaire are back at bantamweight. Could a rematch be in store? To be honest, I kind of hope so. I love both fighters tremendously and would love to see them run it back one more time, but only time will tell what will happen to both of these future Hall of Famers. So guys, that's the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about these 5 fights in the comments below and all the fighters I mentioned. I'd love to hear it. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.